Hello and good morning, Nonen of 9, NonenNox here, and I bring another Mindustry video. Today I'm going to be introducing wireless defenses and links. Links is a way to get information from a linked building. Right here, I have a set of turrets, and we want to get information from them. Right now, I have this set up. This get link is what we use to get information from a link. This here I am just showing to show how much total links is, which is what @links grabs. The operation here is what's going to cycle between all the linked building using the modulo operator. And this is just going to show what the building is. Links start at 0. As such, I have this at 0 right now, but there is nothing here because there's no links. I'll put duo, and now we've got building type as duo. And total link is 1. So if I get the rest of it, we now see we have a total of 6 links. Still duo. And we go to link 1. It is now scatter. Link 2. It is now scorch. 3. Hail. 4. Wave. 5. Lancer. And last. No, that is last. And now if we go to 6, it loops back around to the first link, which is 0. That is what we're going to use to be able to check all the turrets that we have linked. Alright, to start, we're going to need the processor. And we are going to put the desync. We want to make sure that is usually always in our builds. Alright, to start things off, we need to add our get link. This is where we are going to store all of our information. I use check link and what link. We are checking the link, that's our information, and what link is what link we're looking at. Now, as usual, there is nothing here. We are going to throw in a scatter turret as our link to grab information. Next, we are going to need to get its location. So we are going to do some sensors. Link X in at X, or you can select it in here. Actually, is that right? Yeah, it is. And check link. With that, we got the X location. Now I'm going to need the, let's put this capital, the Y location. That gives us the coordinates that we're going to need to command a unit to bring resources to. That's good. Now we need to check the building for its capacity and how much ammo it has, because we only want to fill it up if it has at least half ammo. So more sensors. We're going to check the turret capacity. It'll be slightly different from units as we are going to use ammo capacity. And then for the total, turret total, we are going to check the ammo. With that, if we check it, it can hold 30 and it has none. Now we want to be able to check, or not check, but set how much the half ammo mark is. So we're gonna have an operation here. Name it half ammo. We're going to put a cap divided by 2. And that will give us what we need for the tracking. Now we need to cycle through the blocks, or how much is linked. So we're going to add an operation. What link? And we're going to do what link plus 1. That will cycle through the links. And then we are going to need to have it be the right numbers. So another what link. And it's going to be what link modulo and at links. That'll get the total amount of links. It'll take what the current link is and modulo it to be the appropriate number we need. And with that, it should be fine. It's 0. Now if we add second one and link that, it moves fast, so it's not going to change as easily, but we do see it changing. Since there's only 2, it's going to show them. So 0 and 1. Alright. Now we will set it soon, but we want to be able to choose the ammo type. So we're going to put a sorter right here. Now we'll put an end here, because this is one of the spots we want to loop. We also need a jump. Now we need to do something whenever the turret total is half of the ammo, or has reached the half ammo point. So less than or equal to half ammo. With that, it'll do its commands. Now we need to get the units. We're going to do it slightly different, and we are going to add a sensor. Controller, at controller, in, at unit. And then if the controller is this processor, and the difference is we're going to use unit type as unit 1. This is needed to properly unbind as well as to bind to multiple units, but we are not going into the multiple units right now. We want it to properly unbind so we can free up the unit when it no longer needs to do anything. So with that, we are going to add another, let's see, sensor. Controlled. At controlled. In unit. This here is going to tell us if we have no unit controlled. So if we do not have any units controlled, we need to get a unit. And we can also start linking this over here. So now the unit we want to bind to is a flare. Again, we will need to check if it is controlled. And we can also link this here, and controlled equal to false. If it is not being controlled that it finds, it will link, no, not link, bind to it because it is a free unit for us to use. Add an end because we want to loop there if we need it, or not if, we just want end there. And we are going to set unit 1 to at unit. This gives it an ID, and the ID is what we use to connect to it. It sets that specific unit into the ID, so we can connect to that unit through the ID. Alright, now that we have that set, we can actually start doing the commands for the unit. Once all of that has successfully ran, we now need the commands. So, just like the other ones we did, we now need to get the item information for the unit. As such, the held cap will be at item capacity. And since we have that, we can take this controller equals this processor and move it down to the sensor. Once it loops the code, it'll read this, and since it has a controlled unit for this processor, it will start doing the commands that we want it to do. Now let's get the held total at total item or items in the unit. And then we want to see what item it is holding. So at first item in the unit. Now at the start, we need it to gather resources. So we're gonna add a locate. It will look for our core. So core X, core Y, and core home. Move to said location. And constantly try to grab an item. Now this is where we need to set the thing up. So we're going to do OR C, because that is the configuration we want to read. And going to be held cap. So we need one more sensor. We're going to have OR C, the OR configuration, the config, in sorter 1. Now that we have that, we want to make sure that the commands don't run if the current link is the sorter. So we're gonna go back up and add a new sensor. Go back there and grab it. We are gonna put it right here. We are going to check type. And we are going to check the type of building and check link. That, if I hover over it, will return an at type. So for the sorter, it's going to be at sorter. Now we are going to jump. Put this right here, just above the turret total. Now if check type is equal to at sorter, we want it to reroll. We'll go all the way back up there. That should keep it from breaking. Now we need to take the unit that we have and we need to bring the resources that it has gotten from the core. So first we need to copy this and put this here. That should make it properly commanded. Next we are going to add a jump right underneath the sensors. Now if held total is greater than or equal to 1, so once it has at least an item in its inventory, we'll add an N here for loops, and we will add a control. we're going to move to link X and link Y. Information of that was from the sensors up here. And then we are going to move this here. And that will bring a unit to the turret. There we go. Now we want it to put the resource in the turret. So we are going to add a wait here. This will have it properly wait before putting any of the resources in. It's fine when there's not that many turrets linked, but it does seem to have trouble putting the resources in the longer the links go. So this helps it put it in. It does make it a little bit slower, but it's more reliable. Now we're going to add another control, an item drop, and we're going to put it in check link, and the amount will be held cap. And we'll add it in here. There we go. Now the turrets are, well, this one's a little bit less. It should be going there to grab a new set. Let's see. There it is. Alright. It is full. It's got ammo. Almost perfect. Now, we could just call it there and it'd be done. He'll be stuck there for a few seconds and then unbind, but we don't want it to sit there. We want it to return back to home and unbind over there. That way it could free itself up for any other jobs and it won't just stay over here. So we're gonna have to add some extra conditions. The type of condition that we are going to check and track for is going to be an AFK condition. Once it's full, it's going to sit there and not do anything because there is nothing set there. What we want to do is first, let us copy this. We'll put this at the bottom because it's going to pass this and read over here. We're going to add a variable called AFK, and it'll take AFK and add 1 to it. That way every time it reaches here, it'll roll it and it'll keep adding. Now we need to add some extra stuff too. So we are gonna go ahead to the move and we are going to end an operation there. So if it took from the core, then that means it is not AFK and we are not operation. We are going to set AFK to 0. That way it resets it. Now we go back up here. Every time that resets, it just pretty much resets and continues on with its job. But we want it to keep adding when it's done with its job. So we need one more jump. We'll go ahead and take this here. Now, if AFK is greater than or equal to, let's put the variable or number 120. That way, once it gets to that point, it'll go and do something else. So we are gonna need to add another thing. We want it to come back to the base and we want it to unbind. We are going to add one more thing. We're gonna go down to the unit locate and we are going to put that right here. This will keep the unit from not unbinding itself at the turrets. We do not want that. So we are going to go down here and now we want to unit bind. This is just here to properly unbind the unit. And now we are going to take this and put that there. Now that we bound the unit, we are going to add a control, a move, go to core X and core Y. And then we're going to add, we want, just in case it has resources, We're going to add, where is it? Item drop. Drop this to core home and code cat. Alright, now we do not want it to unbind itself when it's not at the core. So we are going to add another command. We are going to move this right here. Going to add a within command for X, for Y, radius of 3, within core. We are going to add an end and a jump. We'll put this here, and within core is not true. So it'll skip this entire part, so it will not try to unbind itself and or drop. So we need more. We need a sensor. We are going to add right here code total at total items in the unit and a jump. So once it is 0, so it has no items in its inventory, we want to unbind it. So we'll add unit control, put that there. We will put unbind and set, and it's going to be unit 1, and we'll give it a string unbound. This way it will lose its ID. And then if done properly, let's go ahead and add a few more turrets. Let's not do too many. Let's just one more. Place it in there, and the AFK is now going up. Now while that goes up, let's go ahead and move this out of the way. And it is unbound. Now we could call it right here because it is completely functional, but let's add a few more. We want to add a sensor. We're going to check for the configuration again at config in sorter 1. What we are going to do, take this, and if the configuration of OR C is equal to, or this one's going to be, we're going to use strict equal to no. We're going to have that go all the way back up. This is to completely turn it off and not do anything. If we check that, we're going to go ahead and put this here. That should grab a unit. Yep. And if we do that, it should be stopped. Now, this one is not going to unbind instantly. Actually, I wonder. Instead of doing it like that, we could just take this and move it down here. That way, if it did have something, it'll just unbind. So we'll do that again. Should grab something new. It already has resources. There. Perfect. Started moving. And I placed it in. Alright, the last thing we are going to add, just in case I happen to not have the right resource. So, we are going to, let's see. If the item is holding is not what we want, just in case. So we're going to put that jump there. We are going to move this to the jump. And if held item, which is from the sensor, is not the same as or C, we are going to also have this come over here, deposit and unbind. Now we have that off. Let's go ahead and test this out. I'm going to switch all their resources to the wrong type of ore. Alright, they all have copper and I have took control of one of them. If done properly, it should work. Or if it just grabs the same one, we'll see. Lead. It grabs one, starts moving. And it unbound. Alright, it's gonna grab another one. It'll keep going for this until it finds a free unit without copper. Alright, all the turrets are full. The AFK is going up, and it will unbind once the AFK is up there. And there you have it. And that is the intro to wireless defense. I hope you guys were able to understand and that you may take this and do whatever you feel like with your own projects. I will see you guys in another video. And here is just a small wave. Might as well go ahead and use these just once. There they are. And there they go, filling up the extra. So the AFK should have reset because they've done something. Alright. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. I will see you guys in another video. Later.